In this lecture, we will study a bit about the basic elements of a signal processing system. In the last lecture, we discussed that we need to convert an analog signal into a digital signal so that we can use computers or other digital devices for signal processing. Now, in this lecture, we will cover the first block of the signal processing system, which is the analog to digital converter. The analog to digital converter consists of three main blocks. The first is sampling, the second is quantization, and the last is encoding. Basically, we will first perform sampling, then quantization, and finally coding. When an analog signal is sampled, it becomes a discrete signal. After quantization, it becomes a quantized signal, and after encoding, it becomes a digital signal. The most important step in this process is encoding, where we assign binary numbers to each signal value. For example, if our code uses 4 bits, then we will represent values with 4-bit binary numbers. Similarly, we can use 8-bit or 16-bit binary numbers depending on the required accuracy. Let's start with the first step of conversion, which is sampling. After sampling, we get what is called a discrete time signal. I want to show you the shape of this signal, which is obtained after sampling an analog signal. You can see that this discrete signal consists of vertical lines or stems. These stems represent individual sample values, and there is a fixed interval between them. Because of these intervals, some information is lost compared to the continuous signal. In a continuous signal, there is no gap, so no information is lost. However, for processing, we use discrete signals that appear as stems. Each stem corresponds to a sample, and the regular spacing between stems is called the sampling interval. You can compare the continuous and discrete signals. The continuous signal has no breaks during its travel, while the discrete signal has gaps between samples. The discrete signal is the sampled version of the continuous signal, where we take values at regular intervals instead of continuously. Now, let's study how sampling is done to convert an analog signal into a discrete signal. Suppose we have an analog signal defined as 0.85 raised to the power of t. This number is less than 1, and since its exponent is positive, the signal decreases as time increases. When time is 0, any number raised to the power of 0 is 1, so the signal has its maximum value at time equals 0. As time increases, the amplitude or magnitude of the signal decreases because the base is less than 1. So this signal starts from 1 and decays gradually. For sampling, we need to select a sampling frequency. The sampling frequency determines the sampling interval. This is a very important step. The sampling frequency can vary depending on the requirements of the signal processing system. It can be 1 Hz, 250, 6 Hz, 512 Hz, or 1024 Hz. In this example, we will choose a sampling frequency of 1 Hz for simplicity. From basic physics, we know that time period and frequency are reciprocals of each other. So if the frequency is 1 Hz, the time period will be 1 second. This time period is our sampling interval. The equation that relates sampling frequency and sampling interval is very important because both terms will be used frequently in signal processing. Now, this is our analog signal, and we are performing sampling. The sampling interval is 1 second, which means we take a sample every 1 second. To represent this mathematically, we replace the continuous time variable t with a discrete index n multiplied by the sampling interval t. Thus, our discrete signal becomes x of n equals 0.85 raised to the power of n. This equation represents our discrete time signal with a sampling interval of 1 second. Now we can compare the two. The original analog signal was 0.85 raised to the power of t, and the discrete signal is 0.85 raised to the power of n. The discrete signal takes values only at integer points such as 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. For example, if we want to find the value at time equals 2.5 seconds, we will find that no discrete sample exists at that exact time because the samples are taken only at integer intervals. The discrete signal provides information only at these regular intervals, while the continuous signal has information at every instant. This shows the difference between continuous and discrete signals. The next step after sampling is quantization. In quantization, we convert the amplitude of the sampled signal into a finite set of levels. The reason for quantization is that the amplitude of a discrete signal may have infinitely precise values after the decimal point. For example, at time equals 1 second, the value might be 0.7999867, and so on. Such infinite precision is not practical for digital processing, so we round these values to a finite number of levels. Quantization is the process of converting the continuous range of amplitude values into a limited number of discrete levels. For example, if we have a value of 0.7689, we may round it to 0.7 or 0.8. In this way, we reduce the infinite decimal places to manageable finite levels. Now, let's see how this works. Suppose we define 10 quantization levels between 0 and 1. These levels could be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and so on up to 1.0. Each level represents a range of amplitude values. When we quantize the signal, we assign each sample to the nearest level. For instance, if a sample has a value of 0.79, it will be rounded to either 0.8 or 0.7, depending on the rule we choose. You can see that after quantization, each sample now takes one of the available quantization levels. For example, when n equals 0, the original value was 1, and it remains 1 after quantization. When n equals 1, the value was 0.85, and it becomes approximately 0.9 after quantization because 0.85 is closer to 0.9 than to 0.8. Similarly, when n equals 2, the value was around 0.72, and it is quantized to 0.7. In this way, every discrete sample is assigned a value according to the nearest quantization level. This process converts the long, infinite decimal values of the discrete signal into shorter, rounded values that are easier to handle and process. Quantization makes the signal ready for digital representation and further processing. Now, the quantized signal still appears as a discrete signal with samples represented as stems. For example, at n equals 0, the value is 1, at n equals 1, the value is 0.9, and at n equals 2, the value is 0.7. If we look at time equals 1.5 seconds, we will not find a sample there because the signal only exists at discrete sampling intervals. The main difference between the discrete signal and the quantized signal is the precision of their amplitude values. The discrete signal can take any value depending on the analog signal's behavior, while the quantized signal takes only specific values based on predefined quantization levels. In this lecture, we covered two very important elements of the signal processing system, sampling and quantization. We learned how an analog signal can be converted into a discrete signal through sampling and how the discrete signal can be further simplified into a quantized signal. During sampling, we must choose an appropriate sampling frequency and sampling interval. The problem with the discrete signal is that its amplitude values can have infinite decimal precision, which makes processing difficult. Quantization helps solve this problem by rounding the amplitudes to finite levels, making the signal easier and faster to process.